Hello, I'm Cynthia. For those of you who don't know me and are first time here, I am a practical spiritualist. I work in all aspects of spirituality and divine guidance. My goal is to help others come out of the restricted thinking, the over-logical way of looking at things, and the spiritual fanaticism, the dogma that blocks you from seeing the positive solutions to the challenges that are facing you, overcoming them, and living your life whole and to its fullest capacity that does include joy and healthy relationships. Before we get into my talk about dentures, if you find what I do helpful, please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, do so, and also share my videos to those who you think they might help, as algorithms mean a lot. And if an influencer is monetized, they can purchase better equipment and bring you higher quality videos. Okay, so here we go. I am a little over 4 months into having all of my teeth pulled. If you would like more on the story behind that, I have a playlist that I have started that is all about oral health and dentures, and you can go there and see what that is all about. I'm in temporary dentures because we are not sure at this point how the reconstructive aspect is going to go. So that will determine the size of my dentures once everything is completed. And because I have had extensive surgery on the bone, that healing takes many months to go through. Sometimes it can take up to a year. So I'm going to be in these teeth for quite a few more months to come. And the first thing that I noticed was that speaking was difficult to adjust to, as well as eating. And as I went back for my checkups to have my dentures adjusted, I had strong lines of communication with my prosthodontist. And this is one thing that I want to stress that is extremely important, because if you have a doctor or a dentist in any aspect of your health care that really, truly takes the time to listen to what you are saying and any discomfort that you have, they will address it right away, and they will get to the bottom of it. And a lot of people don't want to do this. They have fear that they're going to get backlash, that a doctor is going to reprimand them, or that they are just being a hypochondriac. But I'm going to tell you, if you are having any kind of discomfort with your dentures, that is a sign that they need further adjustment. Your dentures should feel good. Mine actually feel like natural, healthy teeth, and I can honestly say that. I am comfortable wearing them. I absolutely love them. They have changed my life, and outside of cleaning them in between meals and putting them back in, I leave them in my mouth up until it's time for me to go to bed. That is how good they feel. But my first week into it was difficult. So I would tell you it takes about a month, maybe a little past a month, to feel really comfortable with how to work with the dentures and how to eat in them. And also the amount of adhesive that you use, because you don't want to overdo it and you don't want to underdo it, and that is a personal thing. But your dentures should never have to be overdone with adhesive. If you have a good fit to begin with, up at the top, you are going to have quite a bit of suction. And that will determine how well they stay in without slipping when you are talking or eating. Lower dentures are a little more tricky. A lot of people have problems with those coming out after a certain amount of time that they have been in. Now, for myself, because I am missing part of my jaw, my dentures hold for about probably 6.5, 7 hours if I go out and I do errands and I do shopping and I don't eat anything. I'm fine that whole time. But then when I break for lunch, I find they're slipping, and before I can eat, I have to actually take them out, wipe them off, and apply more adhesive. And then I'm fine. I can have my lunch and then take them out with no problem because they're not stuck, and clean them and put them back in and go on with the day. It's very, very simple. But in the first week, all of this was really difficult to get used to because it was like I had this foreign object in my body, and it was difficult to bite down because I really didn't have the confidence chewing anything. Now, mind you, I cannot bite from the front because these are temporaries, so I have to cut things up and I have to eat from the back. But even with that, I have a good diet. I am eating my vegan burgers. I am eating sandwiches as long as they are not loaded down with all of the onions and tomatoes and lettuce, because that creates a problem. The smaller the bites, the better off you're going to be. Salads were definitely a challenge, but since I love them so much, I had to have them. And I opted for only putting fresh vegetables in them, like olives and tomatoes. Not everyone likes tomatoes. But you can do cucumbers if they're thinly sliced. This is what I found out. And so you can feel kind of sloppy when you're eating, and that can make you be embarrassed when you are in a social situation with others. So my suggestion is practice your table manners, if need be, in front of the mirror while you are eating at home. And trust me on this one, it really does work. Apples, another food I love. As long as they're thinly sliced and chopped, to a small bite size, you can eat apples. Now, if you have any pain when you are eating and you go back to your prosthodontist, your dentist, make sure that you have written everything down that you have experienced. Because I had a horrible pinching on the right side, which is where the majority of my surgery was. And I had to chew on my left side, which ultimately, if I kept doing it, it would throw my bite off. So when I went back to the prosthodontist, it was like no problem. That issue was fixed immediately. The same thing is true if you have any discomfort in the top, any pain at all. They can get rid of that as well if they are an expert. I call them artisans at casting the mold for the teeth and then doing the adjustments. Because if you are not getting these issues addressed and you have dentures that are too big, first of all, they're going to give you that monkey mouth that so many people talk about. I never had the monkey mouth in the beginning because my doctor knew exactly what she was doing. Now, I have several doctors, so I have another prosthodontist involved in it. And many times, what I found out is many times when you have all your teeth extracted, the doctor or dentist who has cast the mold doesn't really know how much bone loss there is going to be. And so in my case, there was a ton of it, which took me longer to get my dentures. Because in some cases, they may have to even retake the entire impressions again. As for me, to get it right, at one point I was in a metal contraption where I looked like I was out of Star Trek. I looked like one of the Borg, where they were assimilating me because I had these big rods and I had these ear plug type things put into my ears. And it was the sensation of a vice. So when they started to tighten it, everything clamped in on my head and into my ears. And then they were taking some kind of a pen and making markings. to get the measurements right. So I didn't mind going through that because I knew I was getting the best of care possible. So you should never be stuck in pain and with dentures that look like you are all mouth and abnormal, that you can't properly speak in, and you can't chew in. So if that's the case, there's really something wrong, and it needs to be addressed. The other thing I want to mention is the healing period. You have to be really patient with yourself. And whatever you do, if you have a good doctor who is really trying to get to the bottom of your issues, it might take a couple of months, or at least a month, before everything is the way it needs to be. So give them the benefit of the doubt and the kindness and the patience to do the best work that they possibly can for you. I also, in closing, want to mention that if you have a clicking sound that is really loud and abnormal, I'm doing it on purpose, but I don't have it when I eat or when I speak. That's also an improper fit, and they're going to have to adjust the dentures and buff them down. So, that's all I have for you at the moment. I will see you real soon, and I wish you much love and many blessings. If you are on the denture adventure, I'm going to tell you something. It will change your life if you don't have another option and your health is at stake. Sending you tons of love. Bye for now.